What's up, guys? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kanger Subtank. Okay guys, today I got the Kanger Subtank in the mail and it came in this little package here. I picked this up at Sweet Vapes. Tax and everything was $52.95. Okay, and then here is the box that it came in, obviously. I already have the back ripped here a little bit so we can tear it open. This is brand new. It just came in the mail, so you're seeing it for the first time with me. And I've been really stoked over this, man, because I've been wanting to build on it. There we go. It just slides out. Looks like some pretty good packaging here. So that is what you get inside the box. Kind of just slides open like a little drawer. Product authenticity card, our user's manual. And I highly recommend reading through this, guys. That way you know the functionality of the tank, how to take it apart, put it together, and what type of coils to use and all that kind of stuff. And Kanger always seems to have really nice user manuals, and a lot of people tend to forget about these things. And this is a really important part of the overall package. So I really like that. Then here's our tank. I will set this off to the side just for a moment. That down inside this box is going to be more stuff. And yes, there is. Okay guys, so I actually stopped the video right there and decided to go ahead, instead of shooting the video for the tank and I hadn't used it or anything like that, I wanted to go ahead and use the tank for a day or so and then, you know what I mean, shoot a video on it. So that's what I'm doing now. So this is after 1 day of use. So let's go ahead and take a look at the parts that were in the box that we saw just a moment ago. You get a couple of extra screws down in here and a couple of coils, as you can see, and a screwdriver. You get that, plus you get a little packet of organic cotton, and I'll tell you what that's for here in a little bit. Well, actually I can tell you now, it's for rebuilding your coils when you rebuild on this deck. Okay, then you get these two coils that come with this, and one is a 0.5 sub-ohm coil that has a range from 15 to 30 watts, and then the other one is a 1.2 ohm coil that has a range from 12 watts to 25. And these are called OCC coils. And this is a new design by KangerTech. And these actually have organic cotton, if you can see that down in there. So I'm going to move these off to the side. I haven't used these yet. I used the tank all day yesterday, but I haven't used any of the coils, so I couldn't tell you what they vape like. I went immediately for the rebuild. And this actually came with two coils already pre-built. I'll get to that here in just a second. This right here is a beauty ring because this tank has a 25mm diameter. I'll tell you right now, it looks really goofy on like something like a simple mod or something, or any mod for that matter. It just looks goofy because it's so big. You can actually use this beauty ring if you do want to use it that way, and that'll help like straighten up the lines a little bit, but I don't know, it's still too big. So with this tank, if you look at the very top, we'll take the drip tip off. And by the way, the drip tip looks wide bore at the top, but it's not. There you go. The bottom of it, it's tight. But if you look at the top here, you pull out these two screws, okay? Got two screws there. And this entire piece right here, along with that shaft, lifts up out of there. It's actually one of these. Okay, and the one that I have on here currently actually goes to this little chimney piece. And then if I wanted to use one of these coils, I just screw this coil down into this base. And then when I put my tank together, I would have to use this other chimney piece because it's essentially going to sit down on top of the coil like that. This piece right here is what I went for directly. And I can already tell you that it feels really flimsy to me. It's a lot like a K-Fun, but not as well made. Right here, if you see that little tiny hole, that's how your juice gets into this. You got two of those holes, one on one side and one on the other. And I mean, they are tiny. Those little holes right there correspond to juice flow channels that are built into this little deck. So let me unscrew this. I already have a coil built on here. This came with two coils pre-built, but I decided to rip them out of there because it was like a 1.2 ohm build on a dual coil. And I didn't want that because to me that's just way too high anymore. Just a personal preference. So I decided to take both of them coils off and build my own. And this one is actually a 0.8 ohm. It's 7 wraps of 26 gauge Kanthal around a 564 drill bit. And if you look at that deck, it looks very, very similar to how you would build on a K-Fun. You got your juice channels right here on one side. It's going to let the juice come in from that little hole that we were talking about. And it comes right up to your cotton. And you got the same thing on the opposite side. So I'll do a rebuild video for this pretty soon. But if you actually go back and look at my K-Fun build, it's pretty much the same exact idea. Something else to note about this. Okay, I'm going to lift my cotton up here so you can see this. See that plastic underneath there? I think that's like an insulator of some sort. Then you got this little tiny piece of metal right here. Then our coil sitting on top of it. That actually all comes off. This will come off of here. I had an issue, man. This bottom piece right here came loose on me. This actually has threading in it that comes up into the bottom of that section right there. And it was actually loose. And it caused this piece up here at the top to spin after I put a build on it. When I went to tighten it down, this was actually loose. And the entire top of the deck did like a little spin on me, and I had to end up taking my coil off. It messed my coil up, so I had to take the entire thing apart and then put it all back together and tighten this down with a pair of needle nose pliers, so it's, you know what I mean, so it don't come loose again. So I just wanted to throw that out there and let you know that this whole thing does come loose, so just be careful with it. Okay, so down here, this is our base, and we have an O-ring there. And you got to be careful because it will fall out. Mine fell out like 3 or 4 times. And then right here on the bottom, you got a spring-loaded 510. And I think that's gold-plated. Let's go ahead and screw this down. Goes in like so. And another issue I found with this is if you want to check your cotton or change out your cotton, you have to absolutely take this entire thing off. You know what I mean? You got to pull the whole thing off and then hold this by this bottom section as tight as you can and then twist that off. So I don't know, it's just that kind of little stuff just kind of bothers me. I know it's not that big of a deal, but I don't like having to pull everything apart, man, just to get to my cotton. So you can see the coil down in there a little bit. So let's put that off to the side just for a second and take a look at our upper tank section. As I say, you can pull these 2 screws out and then this whole top piece will come out of here. But to get the glass, the Pyrex glass off, we just slide it right off. So you got an O-ring up here at the top and then down here at the bottom. I'm not really sure that if that's could be classified as an O-ring or not, but there it is. It helps seal the tank. So we just slide our Pyrex back on, and you fill this just like you would any normal tank. You fill it right up to the, see the edge of that in there, that shaft sticking up? You just fill it like right to the bottom of that. So I'm gonna get some juice in here real quick, and then we just proceed to twist it all back together. Once we get it tight, flip it over, and that's it. Pop your drip tip on, and you're ready to go. Now one last thing is our airflow. This airflow ring is tight. It does click into place. You can see right there that's actually closed off, but it's just kind of, it's hard to get to, and there's one air hole open. I haven't seen anything that says, anywhere in the description that says what size those holes are, but they look like they're probably, I don't really want to guess, but I'm just going to say they look like they're probably about 2 millimeters each. I don't know. That's just about what they look like to me. But anyway, that's one. And then it's kind of a little bit of a pain to get it to turn. There's 2. And then there's 3. That's completely wide open right there. I don't know. The airflow on this to me is just really tight. I mean, even that wide open with holes that big, there just isn't that much air getting to the coils. It's definitely not as airy as the Aspire Atlantis. No way. Not even close. So really quick, I wanted to mention if you have one of these OCC coil heads in here, then the tank capacity is going to be 6 mils. And if you have it set up the way I currently do, which is like an RBA, rebuildable atomizer, then the tank capacity is going to be 4.2, and that's because that bell housing down there is taking up so much room inside the tank. That's pretty much about it, man, that I can think of. Let's go up top and give it a vape, and then I'll talk about it some more. Okay, really quick, if you can see that, we got a 0.8 ohm coil. Battery's about 72%, 20 watts, and it's 4 volts. I haven't tried this with one of the OCC coils yet. I'm not even sure if I'm going to, because I imagine the draw on it is going to be even tighter. I pretty much bought this tank specifically to rebuild on it. You know, tax and everything was like $52 from Sweet Vapes. Do I think that this tank was worth $52? I mean, I could go either way on that one. I mean, I think for me, if the airflow was a bit better, then I could get on board with that. But as it currently stands, I think that this tank still needs some more minor adjustments done to it. That chimney piece that's in there and the build deck that you're currently looking at for the RBA setup is just really flimsy. It feels cheaply made to me. Then that combined with the airflow, it looks like it has massive airflow, but it doesn't. It's really tight. And when I mean tight, I'm talking about like a K-Fun, but maybe with just a little bit more airflow than a K-Fun. And I haven't used like the billow tanks or any of that, so I don't know anything about those, or the orchids or any of that stuff, so I have no idea about those. But the closest thing that I had to compare this to is a K-Fun. It's just a little more airier than that. If you own one of them, then you know what I'm talking about. Compared to using the Aspire Atlantis, the Aspire Atlantis is very similar to dripping. It's like an atomizer, like a drip atomizer. This is definitely not like that. As far as the juice capacity, it's awesome. Even if you have it in RBA mode, you got plenty of space for juice. You got 4.2 mils the way I have it currently set up. One more thing that I don't like about it really quick is just the size of it. It looks goofy on everything. This is on my Sigeli 100 watt, and the tank itself is almost as big as my entire box mod. So it's just goofy looking. And it hangs over on the sides. And then when you put it on something like a mech mod, like this simple mod right here, yeah, don't do that because it looks stupid. And that's part of the overall appeal, man, when it comes to these new tanks and stuff, is the design of them. I mean, sure, you want functionality and you want them to work and hold plenty of juice and all that kind of stuff, but they also have to look good aesthetically, okay? And the lines and all that stuff need to match up, and they just don't on this. I like the way that it looks. I mean, it's not a bad looking tank. Don't get me wrong. You know, it's not a bad looking tank. It's just that it's just bulky and goofy looking when you put it on top of box mods or mech mods. And that pretty much covers the entire market, man. So, I don't know. Do I recommend buying this? If you're a mouth to lung hitter, then I definitely recommend this product. But if you are used to RDAs, then I absolutely don't recommend it, because you will hate the draw on it if you're used to RDAs like I am. That's the Kanger Subtank. So until next time, guys, take care and happy vaping.